Okay, hello everyone. We're going to try this a second time. The last time you saw me work on this FormLabs station here was when I washed the 3D parts, took them off the actual build plate, and at this point the wash has concluded, and what we're going to do is we're going to take these parts out of the actual hopper here, and we're going to throw them into the UV cure, and as known as, I think, FormCure with the FormLabs company, and kind of wrap up this entire process. So if you've watched these 3 videos that I've created, you kind of have everything in a nutshell as to what to do in terms of adding photopolymer resin back to the printer using open mode, taking the models off the build plate, washing them, and then curing them. And so if you've watched these videos, the next process for you, at least if you're in my class and in the lab, is that actually you'll be physically doing this yourself once you've seen these videos. So at this point, the wash is finished, the hopper has come up. I apologize for the lack of focus. This is a webcam, so it's looking for my face versus the information here in the background. So I'm just going to grab out the models here. I just want to kind of show you what it looks like. Remember, they were in isopropyl alcohol. They're still a little wet here. This is the part that I kind of want up the pieces similar to. Let me see if I can get it to focus. This webcam does not focus when I want it to. Anyway, it's still wet, but it's cured, and it just needs to finalize in the oven. And so we're just going to take these and kind of approximate them so they can kind of have some space between each other. The shadows of the individual models aren't going to be cast. This is going to be a rotational table, almost like similar to what you'd see in a microwave. And so even if there are shadows, since this is continuously rotating, it should kind of compensate for that. Except, I guess, if you're in that middle and you have parts all over it. So you want to kind of spread these out as best you can. I printed quite a few models here. If you have some loose support material here, and it's already kind of coming off, you might as well take that off before you put it in, and kind of do yourself a favor and preemptively clean as you go along. So like I said, I printed quite a few parts with this in this one shot, so I'm going to be printing or curing quite a few parts. One of the things I found is that if you leave a surface that you care about down onto the table and you don't wash things perfectly, it'll actually glue itself to the platform, and you could damage, obviously, the platform itself and obviously the part. So the wash is really important, and I found that the Form Wash automated process seems to work the best in terms of getting any of the residual photopolymer off the model before you go ahead and cure it. So let's see if I can get a better focus. This is Dustin's part. No, it's not focusing. I'll work on a better camera next time. So at this point, I have all the pieces out, and they're kind of in their pedestal. This, like I said, spins around. You would set this to a specific temperature in centigrade, and then the amount of time. Typically, I do 30 or 40 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 50 minutes, depending on the part. And it's pretty much done. So to speed this up, normally this would heat up. I have the heater turned off just so that I can quickly turn on. You can see the blue lights. But once the video ends, I'm going to shut this off, turn back on the heater, let it heat up, and then it'll start. Okay. So at this point, I have heaters off. I have it set to 50 minutes. I'm going to hit start. You'll see that the lights kind of internally turn blue. The webcam definitely picks that up. Let me see if I get a little closer and you can maybe see some rotation. You definitely see some recursive reflections being recorded. Let's see if we can get some motion inside. There you go. You can see the parts in there rotating. All right. So the internal surface of this cure is all photoreflective. So the UV light is bouncing around all around inside here, hitting every surface that can as the parts are rotating. Plus, it'll be in a heated environment at a timed amount, so it's very controlled. I really like this process versus just holding over like a standard UV light that you would use for nails that I see some people do. I think it's worth the process, or it's worth the money for this specific controlled process, because you can kind of gauge if your cure time was not adequate enough. It's not like how long was it. You'll actually specifically know, oh, it was set to 50 minutes, maybe the temperature, maybe the time, and so forth. I also like to use the FormLabs chat forums to see kind of what other people have done as well. Reddit has a couple subthreads and subreddits for that as well, and it's nice to kind of talk specific numbers versus, you know, ambiguous times, like not enough, a little bit more, and so forth. I like to talk actual absolute values. So that's about it. So when this is done, these parts should be ready to be taken apart. So this is just another sample piece. I can't get it to focus on my name. I could earlier. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to take this. This should be hard and brittle. So I should be able to snap this right off, as you can see here. And the rest of the stuff I just tore off can get thrown away. This model is done effectively. I want to rotate around the back side so you can kind of see what happens to the back surface, if it will focus on it. This Logitech webcam doesn't seem to like focusing on. It'll focus on this. So that's smooth. There's your dimpled surface. That's kind of evidence and a product of the supports. See if I can get it to focus on the supports. Bear with me. Maybe it's the only thing. There we go. Right. The only way I've figured out how to combat that is to sand these down. All right. So just be careful which surfaces are actually being held up by the support if you want them to be perfectly flat at an engineered measurement. I can't get this to focus. But with that being said, we're pretty much done at this point. So have a good day. Hopefully this was informative.